Welcome to Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. When I seek to be inspired for a message to share in my weekly podcasts, I often sit in my desk chair and look at my beloved bookshelves. There are books I prioritize to read, and so I have them sitting on the shelf facing out, leaning on the spines of the books behind them. The titles of the books brought a nudge of an idea to share on this podcast. Here are the titles of my books facing out on the shelves. Two books by Mitch Albom, Have a Little Faith and The Stranger in the Lifeboat. Hope for Cynics, The Surprising Science of Human Goodness by Jamil Zaki. Philosophy by Laura D'Olimpio. Humankind, A Hopeful History by Rutger Bregman. Almost Everything, on Hope by Anne Lamott. Embracing Hope on Freedom, Responsibility, and the Meaning of Life by Viktor Frankl. The Coddling of the American Mind by Greg Lukianoff and Jonathan Haidt. What the Dolphin Said by Judith Simon Prager. The Friendship Bench, How 14 Grandmothers Inspired a Mental Health Revolution by Dixon Chibanda. The Bear in the Middle of Between by Alexis Acker-Helber. Finding Meaning, The Sixth Stage of Grief by David Kessler. Anam Cara, a book on Celtic wisdom by John O'Donohue. And Troll Magic, Hidden Folk from the Mountains and Forests of Norway by Theodore Kittelsen. Think I'll ever get them all read? You should see how many I stand behind them. I read all the titles to you because there is quite an evident pattern. Notice how many had to do with humankind, meaning, friendship, hope, mental health, wisdom, and although the word wasn't present in the title, the majority of the books dealt with the relationships. I guess if you want to learn what's important to you, look for the things that are repeated around you, like your books, like the sayings you hang on your walls, what you like to hear about, what you like to listen to. We often surround ourselves with what feeds our souls. Today, I found this quote by Maria Popova. Anything you polish with attention will become a mirror. Hmm. How does your life, your likes, dislikes, words, attitudes, time, expressions act as a mirror, telling the world a great deal about you? It's like another quote I may have used recently. Life is like a field of newly fallen snow. Where you choose to walk, your footsteps will show. In our book club, we rotate choosing the next month's book to read. I love reading the book and learning more about the person in my book club just by their choice of book. So, how are you reflected to the world? Last weekend, I spoke at a retreat about purpose. I posed that question to those gathered. It reminds me of the Norwegian joke about Ole and Lena. You see, Ole was plowing in his field one day when he came upon something he had never seen in his life, a mirror. It was so long ago that most people didn't have mirrors, you see. Anyway, not knowing what it was, Ole picked it up, looked in it, and gasped as he thought it was a picture of his father, dead now for 15 years. It was so good to see his face again. Ole took that mirror home and hung it on the post in the barn where he could stand and look at it day after day. It was so good to see his father again. Well, one night after supper, Ole told Lena he was going down to Sven's house for some coffee. Lena said, "You go, Ole." She thought now she could get out in the barn to see what he was up to for all the time he spent there. When she saw that mirror on the post, she sputtered, "Ha! So that's the old ugly hag he's been running around with." I love that joke. But it's actually a good reminder that every day we have the opportunity to reflect to others so much about who we are by our words, habits, and choices. Holly Brubuck, a journalist and author, said, by the time you're 50, you have the face you deserve. After 5 decades of scowling, laughing, pouting, smiling, you have etched on your face something that tells the world a great deal about who you are. Wow. In her wonderful little book, Wouldn't Take Nothing for My Journey Now, Maya Angelou shares the story about her grandma who raised she and her brother Bailey. Grandma Annie had to come up with a way of providing for these two little mouths to feed, and since she couldn't get hired to work in town or in the factories with the children to care for, she started to a little lunch spot and for factory workers looking for something to eat along the road. Grandma Annie said, I looked up the road I was going and back the way I come. And since I wasn't satisfied, I decided to step off the road and cut me a new path. What a piece of encouragement as we reflect on our reflection. If you feel consumed by worry these days, anger, fear, doubt, and helplessness, think about Grandma Annie. Like Maria Popova's quote, anything you polish with attention will become a mirror. You can polish your attitudes to be a mirror that reflects the person you want people to see, and you will start feeling that way. During these days of fear and brokenness in our country, I know I want my attitude and words to reflect the titles of my books: Humankind, Meaning, Friendship, Hope, Wisdom, and Relationships. This week, on your bathroom mirror, write, I will look around for the mirror reflecting me to the world and decide if that's the path I want to be on. Join me next Monday for Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.